I just put on a EURUSD trade today, so I will have all the details on that, including where I got in, why I got in, and what I'm looking for from the euro over the coming days. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Justin Bennett, Forex trader since 2007, full-time since 2011. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's look at the EURUSD here on the 1 hour time frame, and let's go all the way back to January because we really have to understand that what happened back here in order to understand what's happening now. So looking at the euro, we had this price action back here. You can see very aggressive run up here from the euro. So this move here, this price leg, this was mostly internal. However, like I've said in the last few videos, I wanted to have this on my chart here because this BOS, this close above, gave me this change of character over here, which there's no debate whether that was significant or not, because both on the euro and the pound, that right there has put these markets into a downtrend. Now, the pound has trended lower more aggressively than the euro, but both of these here, okay, both of these change of characters back here gave me short opportunities on both of these markets. So all in all, guys, even though this back here was internal, okay, to this price leg, you can still see where this was significant. Okay, this mattered for the euro. Okay, now looking at the current price action, and you know what, before we go into this, guys, I'm looking at my YouTube right now, 99,890 subscribers. It would be really, really cool if we could push over 100K today. This has been 12 years in the making. So do me a favor, if you're not subscribed right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I am putting out videos like this one every single day. So looking at the euro now, what we can see here is that even though we have had this change of character back here and we've had this break of structure now following this close below on February 19th, even though this overall external structure here points lower, okay, you can see that for the most part from these lows back here all the way up here to these highs, the euro really has just been sideways for the past few weeks. So with that in mind, I have no problem trading this either way, okay, both ways, both directions, because if this were trending lower, if we had a trend like this, okay, a very aggressive trend, then I would absolutely not be trying to trade this, okay? There's no sense in that. But when you look at this here, even though, again, we do have this over here, this change of character, and this recent BOS, even though that's the case, for the most part, this market has been sideways. Okay, so that brings me to what we're seeing here over the last few days. Now, the very first thing to observe is that markets have been really choppy. Okay, February hasn't been a great month. In terms of price action, I am still up actually in the trades I've taken, and I've shared those in real time in Discord, which I'll show you one here today. But for the most part, markets have been very sideways, and that's certainly the case this week. I mean, this week has also been just very, very sideways. I mean, you can see we basically opened, over here, and so far we've really just gone sideways most of the week. However, what I want to show you here is that within this trend, okay, so let's map this out. We have this external BOS, okay, so these lows back here, we had the close below. This gave us the external BOS. Now within this, we have these internal highs and lows. So these are all of the internal highs and lows within this trend. Now within this here, you can see that we did get a shift recently with this internal break of structure here, okay, below the low, and this internal change of character above the high. So this right here is interesting. Furthermore, too, if you look at this on the 4-hour time frame, okay, an internal shift like this wouldn't mean a lot unless we were mitigating a significant imbalance, which you can see the back here off of this high on the 4-hour time frame. Off of this high, we had this imbalance here that developed below this low. Okay, so off of this high right back here, you can see that we did come down here and mitigate this. So following this mitigation, that right there produced the internal shift that we're seeing. So that is interesting to me. Now, one thing that we talked about in Discord, okay, and I'll show you the trade I put on here in a second, but one thing that we talked about there was the fact that we had this internal shift and the fact that the market had come back here into OTE, okay? So when we look at the low here on the 1-hour time frame, so low to high, and I've made videos on this before as well, how to map out premium and discount and OTE. OTE is optimal trade entry. It is the area between the 79% and 62% area. It's this dark green area down here. Now, once the market hits this area, that's not enough for me to just blindly long, especially when we're in a downtrend like this. But one thing happened here over the past 24 hours that did catch my attention. Okay, so we know again that we have an internal shift back here. We know the market is in OTE. We also know now that looking at this here on a 15-minute time frame, let's look at this. So you can see that right here we had this high that developed, okay, and we had this low. Now following that, what we had was a sweep of the low on the 15, and then we had acceptance above. Okay, so this right here, this pattern, I've talked about this before. I made a video on this. This is what I'm calling a liquidity sweep reversal, or LSR for short, right? This right here, this acceptance above following the sweep of that low, okay, this right here is a bullish pattern. Now, I woke up this morning to the market trading down here, okay? So kind of ideal from an entry standpoint. And so this is the trade that I put on. Now, let me show you that here in Discord, just to show you that I actually walk the walk. I'm not just, talking about this stuff in hindsight. This was the trade right here in Discord, which, by the way, if you want to gain access to this and join us in Discord and get a free SMC course, then check out the link here on this screen. So that's going to give you a free SMC course. It's going to show you exactly how I trade SMC full time. And then beyond that, you're going to have a chance to join Discord. So you can join us. If you don't want to join us, that's okay too. But I do actually guarantee, I actually have a money back guarantee for 30 days that says that if you are not trading more confidently, then I will refund your money, because look, if you're not gaining from this, then I don't want to keep your money. Okay. But looking at this here, you can see this was the trade I put on here today, just a few hours ago. This was the entry. This is exactly what we just talked about, where we had the liquidity sweep, the acceptance above, and then that was my entry and stop loss. Okay. So I do share all of those in real time. And we also discuss markets in real time too, and with dozens of different channels in Discord. So this right here, guys, was the setup. Okay. So the bottom line is that we had this low back here. Okay. So this low and this high, and we had the sweep. Now, once you get this, you want to see acceptance above the high that triggered the sweep, which, if we follow this back, it's this one right here. So the moment that we had this acceptance, this right here was confirmed. Now, you have to keep in mind that, again, markets have been very sideways, okay? So even though I am long on this market from right down here, so 117.79, right down here in this region, this is my long, right? And even though it is slightly in profit right now, look, if I win, great. If I lose, okay. I'm not going to stress it, because I never evaluate myself or my system based on one trade. I can't control what the market is going to do. So why would I sit here and stress about one trade, right? The only thing I can control is whether I'm following my rules, whether I'm following my system. And in this case, I did. Okay. That's the only thing that matters to me. So as long as I'm doing that, then I'm checking the boxes and I'm good to go, right? Whatever happens from there, happens from there. It's completely out of my control. So there's no point in stressing about it. So right now, guys, with the EURUSD, we do have the potential for a bottom. Okay. Now, what it's going to come down to, obviously, is starting to take out some of these highs up here. Now, in terms of targets, though, let's talk about that here for a second, because we do have a buy side imbalance back here that stands out, pretty significantly here on the 4-hour time frame. So what you'll notice is that if we turn on the magnet tool here in TradingView, just to snap it to this low right here, and then snap it down here to this high, what you can see is that this area right through here. So let's move in and take a look at this. So up here in this region, you can see that we have this 4-hour low. Okay, we got displacement down. We then have this 4-hour high. And you can see that there's a pretty decent gap between here. So this right here, up here around like 119, maybe 119.10 or so, this whole region up here is going to be a fair value gap. It's an unmitigated fair value gap. So if we do see follow through from buyers, and again, it's a big if, because markets have been so sideways over the past few days, really this entire month, it's still a big if. But if we were to see some follow through here finally from buyers, this is one area that I think we could potentially see mitigated. Okay, so that will be my final target, provided that I stay in the trade, provided that my stop loss, which is down here below the lows, doesn't get hit. If I stay in this trade, that is my final target. Now, I will also be looking for targets along the way, though, because really, when you look at this trend, first of all, markets have been sideways. I want to lock in some profit if I'm able to. And look at these highs up here, right? This is a significant high through here, and then you've got all these highs through here as well. So really, for me, I will be probably breaking this up into 4 profit targets. So taking one off here, right? Possibly one here, a fourth here, maybe a fourth through here, and then leaving the rest on to fully mitigate this area. Okay. So all in all, in total, it's a 7-hour trade, meaning that my reward is 7 times my risk. However, once you kind of break this up and do the math, it's going to be a little bit less than that, just because I'm not going to wait for this entire, area to confirm, because there's no guarantee that first of all, there's no guarantee that we get follow through at all. And there's also no guarantee that we do get, this full area up here around 119 being mitigated here. Okay, so regardless of what happens, like I said before, I really want to stress that this is not just a matter of hoping and praying and, oh my gosh, I lost on a trade and everything is doomed and my system doesn't work. I never evaluate myself or my system based on one trade, because I can't control what the market is going to do. The only thing I can control is whether I follow my rules and my system. And I'm doing that here. So whatever happens from here, I am completely at peace with. That is just, what the market is going to do. Okay. So the bottom line here for the euro is that we are technically in a downtrend here based on on SMC, based on change of character, based on the break of structure here. However, at the same time, like I said before, you can see that where we are, mostly sideways here. So I'm just trading this range and also knowing that this is a pretty significant imbalance up here that could come into play if we finally get follow through. Now, if we start taking out the lows again, okay, and I get taken out of this trade, then so be it. If we start taking out lows like this down here, okay, these lows down here where we got this confirmed setup, then that of course would start to invalidate things and we could see lower from the euro. Okay, and just lastly too, guys, I want to touch on the DXY here, although really no confirmation from this either. You can see where so far, like I've said in recent videos, this was the impulse down here, the back here with this aggressive sell-off. Since this time, we've just had this relief rally from the dollar, okay? So it's unclear if we are going to come up here and tag some of these imbalances that remain back here, or if we're just going to roll over the coming days and come back here towards some of these lows. So unclear as of now. It's not my job to predict or guess on this. Again, all I am doing here is following my system, okay? I'm just following my system. I don't care what happens from here because I know that I followed my system and my rules, and that is good enough for me. It means that I did a good job. So even if I lose on this, I'm not going to have any regrets because I know that I did all that I could do. All right, guys, so I hope the video helped. Again, keep it locked in here, subscribe. Let's try to get over 100,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out that link in the description for the free SMC course as well. So until next time, trade well. I will talk to you again tomorrow.